Hi guys, this is for the A through K group, and this is for your Thursday and Friday work. This is your notes that you have on Google Classroom, and you guys can fill it in as we go along, or you can write it down on notebook paper, print it off, write it down there, however you want to do it. We're going to go kind of quick because I only have a certain amount of time for this, and if you have questions, go ahead and email me afterwards. If you look at the very top of your notes, we're doing this section right here, Uniting for Independence. The very first box, you guys are going to fill this in where the arrow's at. What you are filling in is reasons why we declared independence against Great Britain. So you're putting down here whatever you taxes, Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, taxation without representation, going a little further with the taxes, you're putting this in this box. So go ahead and take a minute to fill this box in with different reasons why we decided to declare independence from Great Britain. Okay, as we move on, this first section over here, Colonial Unity, you guys are going to fill this in again as we go along. The first part talks about the Albany Plan of Union. This was kind of cool because this is the first time that we were coming together as colonists. This was Ben Franklin's plan during the French and Indian War. We were fighting on the side of Britain against the French and Indians, and he decided that we should all be as one and act as one. It didn't quite work, unfortunately, but it was the very first step where we start coming together and kind of a precursor to us becoming a country and becoming the United States. As we go down, committees of correspondence is the next thing. This is something called civil or civic engagement, which we're going to talk more about in class this year. The patriots, the colonists, those people who wanted to go to war with Britain, started this letter writing committee to go out to the public and urge colonists to resist against the British. So they would send information, what the British were doing, what the soldiers were doing in people's homes. Remember, they were quartering. They would send all that information to different colonists, again, trying to get them to resist, rebel, go against the British. As we continue on, the First Continental Congress, 12 of the 13 colonies sent delegates to this First Continental Congress in order to try to come up with a plan on what we could do to have a more fair rule from the British. When they got to the Congress, they talked, they debated, and they came up with a couple ideas. The one was an embargo, which means we wouldn't trade with Great Britain. And the second one was to boycott any British goods. If you remember, boycott means to refuse to buy, which is a good thing because you hit them where it counts as far as their economy and money. So that was the two things they came up with the First Continental Congress. And then the Second Continental Congress is where we start to prepare for war because we realize that this may not go very well. So during this, they set up the Continental Army, chose a general, which hopefully we know that's General Washington, and it started serving as our colonial government. So this is our first government that we have as the United States, even before we're a country. Okay, so this is the first section again, right here, Colonial Unity. If you guys need to pause, you can do that as we're going through the notes. And then down to the very bottom, the second part, independence. This right here, Common Sense, is a pamphlet written by Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine was a patriot, and he wrote this to get other people to go on the side of the patriots, persuade them to go on the side of the patriots. And he was saying that monarchy was a corrupt form of government, and the British were being unfair to us and taking our rights away because the purpose of government, remember, is to protect people's rights. So he says the British are not doing that, so we have really no choice but to fight and become an independent country. And because of this Common Sense, the name of his pamphlet, Common Sense, more people came out as patriots and people realized that we did need to break away from Britain. So this helped to get more people on our side because there were a lot of people who were still loyal to the British and a lot of people who didn't want to get involved. The next thing you guys should know about the Declaration of Independence, which we will talk and work with a little bit more next week. This was our breakup letter to Great Britain telling them that we no longer want to be part of them and that we were officially breaking away and we are officially the United States of America, the first time we used that title for ourselves. They used John Locke's ideas here of all men being created equal, that we are given our rights, our basic rights, our natural rights by God. Those rights cannot be taken away. We also listed in there all the complaints we had against the British government, why we were breaking away. So we're giving them reasons for the breakup. Taxation without representation, quartering of soldiers. So all that stuff that we were mad about, we told them, which is good, instead of just saying, it's not me, it's you. So we told them why we were breaking up with them. And finally, we spelled it out for them. We said, we tried. We asked you to not tax us. We asked you to let us have a say in it. We asked you to take the soldiers out of our homes, and you didn't do it. So we are now breaking up with you. We are now an independent country. We are not independent yet at this time because we still have to win the Revolutionary War before we become independent. But it is one of our most important documents. And again, we will talk more about this, work more with this next week in class. And then lastly, on this, once we wrote the Declaration of Independence, we now call ourselves states. We no longer call ourselves colonies because we don't consider that we're under British control anymore. So as 13 states, we go from colonies to states, as 13 states, we write constitutions. Those constitutions are a plan of government for each state. The only problem is each state does have a different constitution, so we need to kind of get on the same page with that, which we will eventually, just not yet. And each constitution had a Bill of Rights, which listed off our individual rights that we have, and some of those individual rights we still enjoy today. So that was a very quick tutorial over the second set of notes. Make sure that you get the front of these notes filled in, and then once you're done with that, you will go on to the back and do the questions on the back of the notes. Use what we talked about right now, what we talked about in class, your notes and your book to complete the back.